Happy May 4th everyone! Well, it's May 5th by now, but that doesn't matter. What's important is that the Bad Batch is officially over now. It's been a long journey with some lows but many highs, some of them being the LEGO sets and figures made from it. So remember to hit that subscribe button, because that last one is exactly what we'll look at today. Now, as you can see, I decided to only go with the core Bad Batch squad. No Cat Bane, no Total 360, no Fennec Shand. Just the main 6. Sadly, these aren't all matching, but we can dream of one day getting a clone Crosshair figure. For now though, we have to make do with his Imperial armor. Obviously, this is the suit he got at the very beginning of the Bad Batch Season 1. The figure itself appeared in the Bad Batch Attack Shuttle and nowadays sells for around $18. I have to say that I love all the details on this figure. Sometimes we are left with little detail or even no leg printing, but LEGO put a whole lot of effort into all these figures actually. Contrary to all my raving about this figure though, I have to address the biggest issue with this figure now. The color. It's just wrong. It shouldn't be black, but rather dark or navy blue. In the series he's often shown in the dark, but often enough in proper lighting as well, so that's just a massive oversight. As mentioned though, the details are lovely, especially with toe, leg and hip printing. The belt and the belt buckle on the bottom of the torso also break up the color monotony of the figure very well, inserting some gunmetal grey and silver. On the back that belt continues, and above it we see my other complaint with almost all of these figures: they don't wear backpacks. All we have here is a printed one, which just doesn't work nearly as well as the brick built ones do. Now, talking about the helmet is difficult. I really like it personally. The mix of black, green, grey and silver works fantastically, but Crosshair's helmet from the show isn't a regular clone helmet. Again, same problem with a few of the other figures as well, but in my opinion it's nothing too major. Below the helmet we've got a nougat head and Crosshair's signature tattoo to match the clone's look more accurately, but sadly, no hair. Someone who does have extra hair though is Hunter. Just like Crosshair, this figure appeared in the Bad Batch Attack Shuttle, but also in the Justifier. Probably because of that, it's also the second cheapest of all the figures, currently selling for $8 on the aftermarket. Hunter uses gunmetal grey as his primary color, and if you know anything about me, I love gunmetal grey. Echo and Wrecker use it as well, so those figures already get a plus from me too. Now, earlier I praised Crosshair for the great detailing, but you will come to see he doesn't even touch the others in that matter. We again have toe, leg and hip printing, and the mix of gunmetal grey, silver, black and dark red looks fantastic. Especially the torso is great, even though on the back we have another printed backpack instead of a brick built one. The helmet again is questionable, as this helmet doesn't look like a usual one, but I think it works fine. My highlight is definitely the white streak going down the left side of his helmet. Below the helmet we have his face as well as the signature tattoo, and to that we can now add the hair. It looks really good, but I like the alternative face even more. Up next is the muscle of Clone Squad 99 and a figure not too dissimilar to Hunter, Wrecker. As part of the core squad, this figure was also part of the Bad Batch Attack Shuttle and has a current value of around $22 on the aftermarket. He uses the exact same legs as Hunter, which still just look brilliant, and especially the transition from the legs over the hips onto the torso is great. The torso is also the exact same one as Hunter's, but most of it is hidden by his chest/shoulder piece anyways. This piece was first introduced with Wrecker as well as the Dark Troopers, and nowadays it's become a reoccurring part in the Star Wars theme. Here it aids him in not just becoming taller but also wider. In the show, Wrecker towers over all the other Bad Batch members. He's simply so much bigger than all of them. The extra shoulder pads allow for more details as well, each featuring a small skull and an Orobish 99. Here especially though, I don't get why they didn't add a backpack. The piece has 2 studs on the back, so putting a backpack on there couldn't have been easier. He gets away with it better than the others because of his already so bulky look, but it would have been nice nonetheless. The helmet is a divisive thing once again. Wrecker doesn't use a normal clone helmet, but it doesn't really look like this either. In my opinion, it's close enough and I actually quite enjoy how it looks. Underneath it we have Wrecker's face, which I think is the best of the lot, even though it's weirdly faded. Tech, the brain of the squad, is our next figure. Just like every other figure so far, Tech also featured in the Bad Batch Attack Shuttle and nowadays sells for about $29. Unlike the rest of Clone Force 99, he isn't sporting gunmetal grey, but rather a light bluish grey. Now, I swayed on this. Currently I think white would have been a better choice, but grey works well too as a base color. Again, we have some printing, with the black above it nicely contrasting the light bluish grey. The brown straps connect the legs to the torso, again covering the hips as well, and the dark red is always a highlight. Nothing to complain about on the torso, and on the back we find that Tech is in fact the only clone carrying a backpack. It massively improves his look and shows just how simple the backpack can be. It doesn't have to be anything too complex, sometimes simple is enough. Immediately diverting from that though is the helmet, which is dual molded and incredibly detailed. The green visor should probably be yellow, but the red stripe looks amazing and the extra detail on the earpieces adds some flair too. My biggest problem with the helmet is the size. It reminds me of Genji, as he had an incredible helmet as well that was just too big though. Beneath the helmet we have his goggled face that we could already see through the front of the helmet, but with the addition of the hair, the look really becomes complete. Contrary to that, the alternative face isn't all that, but we've definitely seen worse over the years. Next up we have the X-File First Trooper Echo. I sound like a broken record, but he was also part of the Bad Batch attack shuttle and sells for around about $17 currently. We return to Gunmetal Grey with this figure, but the print's significantly different from the other ones. To start off, we have a printed Karma. It personally doesn't bother me, but I get the people who'd rather have a cloth version. The torso is also more similar to traditional clone armor than to the Bad Batch one, with an additional little skull on his chest that honestly looks kinda cute. Sadly, no backpack again, but we do have arm printing, on one at least, that of course being his cybernetic replacement for the arm he lost in the Citadel. It looks absolutely stellar. I'm an especially big fan of the silver, even though I don't like the grey hand. It's just off. Could have given him a scomlink instead. The helmet looks pretty good in my opinion, even though of course he's not wearing a regular clone helmet in the show. Beneath the helmet we have a significantly lighter face, which makes sense since during his time in Separatist captivity he became a lot paler. I also really like all his implants, and overall this is probably the best head of any Bad Batch member. The last figure is also the latest addition to the Bad Batch squad, Omega. She didn't just come in one, but two sets. The Justifier and the 2023 Star Wars Advent Calendar. She's also by far the least valuable currently, only going for about $5. Due to her height, this figure is obviously using short legs. They're plain black, which actually is quite accurate considering she's wearing black pants and black boots in the show. The torso shows her Kaminoan uniform, which is strongly elevated by the arms. I don't know how or why they just slapped some arm printing on her, but I love it. Without it, the figure would have looked kinda boring, but the arms kind of save it. The face looks decent, it's nothing that'll blow me away, same thing with the alternative face, but it's decent enough, especially in combination with the hair. And that's it. All the Bad Batch members showcased. I hope you enjoyed today's video, and until next time, goodbye.